I'm gonna post the little promo thing.
Are we? Hi, everyone.
Hi.
We can't actually see who is watching, but I assume at least one person is watching. So
yeah, if you're here, welcome. Thanks for coming. We'll shoot out some links and stuff so that your friends can join us. We have comments we can read, I think. Let's introduce ourselves. We'll start with Vita.
Hi, my name is Vita Ayala. You know what? I've been doing a bunch of panels, so I'm just ready.
Yeah, you've done more than I
have. My name is Vita Ayala, and I write comic books for a living. And today I'm wearing a hat that Tini bought me, which is really delightful. It's my good luck hat now. So.
My name is Tini Howard. I write comic books primarily for Marvel with these two fine people, and my lipstick is the same color as Leah's hair.
It is. Aww. Actually, we all kind of match in our own way. Like Vita's got the pink hat, I have the pink everything, also the green. It works.
I threw in a pop of color, which is hard for me.
We aspire to be super colorful. This is as colorful as I get, but it's like I just wear this shirt over and over again.
And then Leah, introduce yourself for us.
Hi, I'm Leah. Same. I also do what these guys do. Okay, I just posted a thing so people know we're doing this right now. That we're here, hanging out, talking. I have my makeup right in front of me, and I just want to keep fussing with it. It's so tempting.
You're fine.
Yeah,
just do it. This just becomes a makeup tutorial.
Okay, cool.
I mean, it's visually interesting.
I mean, to be fair, this is the TQS experience. Us in the room as she does her makeup.
It is delightful. Literally, like
it's like you're in a hotel with us. Literally, I have an iced coffee and tarot cards within my reach. It can be literally us sitting in a hotel experience where Leah's doing her makeup and I'm playing with tarot cards and doing readings. And we're all pitching stuff for a story we're working on and just like giving each other pep talks because it's usually a situation where in an hour we'll be sitting in a room and we'll have to be like, and we'll have to do our thing where when all three of us are in a room together, we can never bring up our own ideas. It always has to be like, Vita has a good idea about that.
Like this, I would love to segue into the thing that I'm most excited to talk about, which is like the fascination with the three of us in particular and why we think that is a thing. Why?
So I'll jump in. And I think that trying to think of it from the outside, for me, I've always loved seeing people's friendships when it's genuine and also like visceral and kind of raw. Like I love when people are just kind of ferally like friends. That has always been something natural, beautiful to me. And you know, I'm a very I'm a friend oriented person, and so I imagine that others in our community, especially like. Right now, we're all writing X-Men stuff, so I'll say like X-Men people are also that way. And I think there's something attractive to that kind of like, you know, found family aspect of our friendship.
Totally. I think too, there's something to be said about like, not just fandom, but queer fandom in particular as it relates to X-Men. Like I know a lot of people who have had really important kind of queer awakenings because of the X-Men canon as like subtextual as it was a lot of times.
That's true.
Yeah, it was always something that, you know, all the gays I knew liked. Yeah, and I want to I guess we could tell a little bit of the story of, you know, we all knew each other and worked in comics together, but really the first time we all got to spend real time together and the kind of crucible of our friendship was Sana Amanat and Judy Stevens at Marvel invited us up to New York for a few days to do some press together and to be part of the Women of Marvel, which they were really welcoming to us. Yeah, this was almost exactly a year ago. Their initiative was really kind. And I also really appreciated, Vita, that they worked with you and made space with you to give you a voice and also to recognize that you were part of the Women of Marvel initiative, but not a woman.
They were actually very, very mindful of that. And that's one of the things that, like, I don't think I get to talk about enough, because it's just, life happens so fast, especially in comics. But like Judy and Sana both like reached out to me and were like, is this a thing you're comfortable with? We have had people that are not women part of this initiative, and it, you know, we want to give you space. And, you know, that really meant a lot for me, like, to hear that. You don't really hear that very often. So that was shout outs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the two of them like worked, I mean, they, you know, bringing us together and our friendship that came out of it is something I'm always really grateful for them, because that they worked hard to make space for us because they saw value in our voices. And
and they
it's really meaningful to have advocates like that in comics. And it's no surprise to me that it was a case that the people who lifted us up were who they were.
Yeah.
You know, it was, it's really, and now we are a community and we serve each other with that, and, you know, our readers and stuff, and create spaces like this where we can be like, hey, we're, as a community of women and non-binary people, as queer people, as friends and loved ones, and some of us are people of color, that's, you know, this is a good space where, and it's important to have those communities where we feel safe and protected, and it allows us to do our work because we're not scared. We don't have to be scared.
Yeah, it's really nice to not feel like your back is exposed when you're out there trying to do what you're trying to do. Do you think they knew? Like, they were like, these three, something about the energy of these three. Together,
I think it probably had a lot to do with, and this is total, like, I'm not sure, but if I had to guess why they brought the three of us together in particular, the way that we navigate social media is very common to our age group, I would say, which is it's not a front. It's not something very like rehearsed or insincere. It is what it is. You get what you get, and it's us through a different platform, but there's no filtering otherwise. And I think because we are who we are, and there's no questions about it. And also, we were all on the East Coast
at the time.
Or once upon a time. Now I wake up and I look at our group chat, and it's you two being like, "Well, whenever Tini wakes up,"
I know.
and I'm like, on the West Coast, sleeping.
All right.
I also like.
And I had even talked about how we miss being in the same time zone as you, because we used to all be kind of on like, and this is what people are gonna be excited to find out about the way we function as like squad every single day is we are like first course of action pretty much when we sit down to work is to announce to each other like, okay,
yes,
I am working now.
if anybody else is ready for a sprint, which is to the viewers at home what we call like a timed writing binge, where we like race each other to do as much as we can.
Get our work done. Yeah.
It's useful. And I will say, like, I know we're going to probably talk a little bit more about the nitty gritty of writing, but just to kind of preview that, like, I have a lot of trouble with keeping focus. I don't know why. I just do.
I do too. And I do know why. I have very bad ADHD. Happy Autism and ADHD Awareness Month, by the way.
I didn't know that.
Pride Month.
Awesome. Happy Awareness Month.
I'm bisexual and ADHD.
I love you with all my heart.
Yeah.
One of my favorite human beings. But, you know, one of the things that helps me keep on track is that system that we kind of have, where at least for a few hours a day, we are checking in with each other. And another thing about it that we do that I really love is that we give each other tiny rewards for when we succeed. And it's really just an excuse to be nice to each other. But like, I find that to be really, really delightful. And it makes me, A, more productive, but B, I think that that's the, like, we just want to be nice to each other. So it's a nice excuse, I guess.
Yeah, and
it incentivizes. Oh, go ahead, Leah.
I think I'm about to say the same thing that you're about to say. Just go.
I was just saying, it incentivizes my distracting you guys. Like, I'll be like, I'll see something that I'll want to send you guys, and I'll be like, oh wait, they're working. I will tell them I have a reward for them when they're done working, and then I won't distract them, and they'll get their work done. And playlists, we do when we're having hard times working, and it's like, I don't know, I can't focus. Maybe I can't find the right music. Mm-hmm. We do a lot of like talking about our stories. Like for the most part, like I know the emotional beats of everything you guys are working on at any given time because we just talk about it so much. Yeah. And that's currently that's like an X-Men office thing. Yeah. Like we're all really deep in Ten of Swords right now, and we are all on the phone talking all the time and reading each other's stuff and making this really great thing together. But it's in the three of us, it's like we have our own accountability buddy thing. We're always checking in on each other, and
it doesn't feel like work.
The playlist is a big thing. It's a love language for us. Like it's totally like we share music. Like, oh my god, this made me think of this thing you're working on, or like Leah invented these amazing playlists where they're timed. So if you're like, I need to write for an hour, she'll make you an hour of music that suits what you're doing. And it's the most wonderful gift.
I have them all saved on my Spotify. It's so incredible.
My favorite thing is, because we're all following each other on Spotify too, is when the three of us are doing a timed writing sprint using one of these like hyper curated, super niche, specific timer playlists, and I can see our listening activity in the sidebar sync up. Where like we're going down the same playlist song by song as we're working on our individual projects. I found that helpful like well before quarantine too, having that kind of coworker.
Yeah, this is a co-work dynamic that we've been doing since before quarantine. It's just how we work. In quarantine, it's become also a really good support network, you know, and I'm really grateful that we had that for ourselves even going into this, because it's been a real gift. And, you know, you guys have been my rock so many times and for so many reasons. And it's an honor to be there for you two. I love you both very much.
I love you. If we don't stay on track, this is absolutely going to become 45 minutes. It's like, how do you feel?
We're going to cry. It's going to fall apart. Oh, I'll use this moment to just...
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, I'll use... First of all, I want to point out in the chat, it got dropped at the beginning, but I want to just say it. So if you guys just joined us, there's a link up there, a bookshop link where you can pick up our work. And I believe some of the proceeds go to Color of Change. And then we also wanted to highlight the Audre Lorde Project, which is ALP.org. It's an organization that helps Black LGBTQ people in the New York City area. So yeah, we just wanted to highlight those charities and remind you guys to do your part today and every day.
And leading out of that too, I think that we were having this. Full disclosure, we pre-gamed this chat by
talking to each other. We didn't start doing shots or anything. We should have.
No. You don't want to drink on this? I have whiskey.
I don't. I would have to go. I mean, I have it in my house. But we pre-gamed conversation wise.
This panel. That'd be weird.
I mean, you can. I don't know how many kids are watching. But we were talking about what we wanted to say on this panel, and we were talking about not just us as a group, but kind of the things that we find important that we share. And one of those things was community and helping each other and kind of supporting each other. And you know, you mentioned earlier that like if we're in the big room, like we for different reasons, people have difficulty speaking about their own ideas, but the other two are there and they got that. And I feel like for me, I have a lot of really wonderful friendships, and that's the common denominator, is that we are ride or die in a way where it's like, I will speak up for you, or I will do what it takes for you. And I think that like, when we had talked about this even before doing this panel, we were talking about what charities we wanted to highlight, because that's a really important thing for us. is being community minded and trying to use our platform, however big or small, to help people and each other.
And this is something that when Vita and I were first getting close, Vita's selflessness and generosity scared the shit out of me, because I had never experienced anything like it. And it's just the way that Vita is. Like, they're very selfless and kind, and everybody who knows Vita knows that this is the gospel truth about how they operate. They are generous with everything, with their spirit, their time. And I kept like saying this to Vita back in the beginning, like, oh God, you scare me. People are going to take advantage of you. You know, you got to not be so nice all the time and not like offer so much of yourself to the world. It frightens me. And then Vita was just like, dog, this is how community functions. And it's so true. It is so true. And like,
absolutely
learning
true.
that from you was what allowed me to see the way my like whiteness factors into my own upbringing, and that sort of, you know, bootstrappy indoctrination that prizes individualism above community and public health and public safety and all the other stuff. And I keep thinking about that
comfort,
now that like we're in this public health crisis, where if we didn't prize individualism so much, like if people weren't so concerned with their own discomfort versus, you know, not killing a neighbor, and they would all just wear masks, it's really,
I feel like,
interesting.
To me, the difference is, and I don't know if I ever said this to you, but I say it on occasion, is I don't really care about being nice. What I care about and what I try to achieve is kindness. And I feel like that is at the center of a caring community, is being as kind to people as you possibly can. And I feel like one of the things that I love about us is that, you know, you draw that out in me as much as I do it on my own. Like, I respond to the energy that I get. And that's always been how I am, where like, I will do my best to be a kind person at the beginning. But if you're not kind to me, maybe I'm not going to be kind to you. Maybe I'm going to treat you how you treat me.
Maybe, but also you, oh, there's a lot of comments. I just found them. No, okay. Anyway.
They're all very loving.
This is part of like our success as a squad, which is we can advocate for each other in the ways we cannot advocate for ourselves. So it's created a very sustainable, like living organism of a community between the three of us, because sometimes, Vita, and I've complained to your wife about this, so you know it's true. I
have Discord friends now.
literally gone behind your back to complain to your wife about how kind you are to everyone you meet, and it scares me.
She married me. She knows how I am.
No, but it's true. One of the
yes, sometimes
one of the
concern, and that's
one of the things that someone just someone just in the chat, kindness is courage, and it's totally true. It's what I was gonna say. Is like, you know, that kind of community that we have is something you build via, you know, being brave enough to share of yourself. And you really, really, really taught me that a lot. And you too, Leah. Like, don't sell your own self in generosity short. You guys know that. I'm like the curse of the Spider Woman. I would rather just like wrap myself in a cocoon and like hiss at the whole world. But like, you guys are absolutely right in that like nothing feels better than that community. And you have to be willing to break out of your cocoon and your comfort to love other people and make that community. And you guys are so rewarding about that. And like, I also want to say that like, I'm really grateful the rest of the folks we primarily work with in the X office are the same way. And that I feel like in a lot of places in my life, I've had community like I have with you two. And then the second you get in the room with your bosses, they're like, okay, you three talk too much. You have to sit on other sides of the room. You guys have too much fun and you're not allowed to, you're not allowed. And like people try to actively break up and like in a spooky macro way. I mean, people do that to destroy communities and to stop people from having the kind of power that we have together. And I'm always really grateful that like in those spaces where we work, it's always like those three are great together. Like let them support each other, let them make magic.
Let the feral
and I feel like
chatter amongst themselves.
We are the feral queers.
Yeah, let them get TQS and Krakoan tattooed on them. We don't care.
We might. Listen, tattoo parlors are opening in 6 months. Maybe I'll go and do that. Like
at the next time us are at, it'll be time. We almost did in Chicago.
Almost.
Ran out of time.
But we did karaoke instead, which I appreciate. Y'all made
home
very lovely. But that's also something that I want to talk about, right? So like one of the things that I value about being able to work in the spaces that we work with each other is that I think that our energy is infectious to the people around us. And I think that they're good people and so they're receptive. But I feel like we went in and we were like, we are a unit. Do not F with us. We will make sure that the others are heard, which again, I think is very important because it's so easy to be drowned out. And also, just to back it up and show some love to y'all. First of all, Tini, you use your Scorpio powers for good all the time. That's what you do.
Mostly for being like, you both need to get some damn sleep.
But we need that. We need that so much because Vita and I are both the kind of people who will run ourselves into the ground for whatever.
I'm getting gray hairs.
Well, we're very balanced. I think
like
we're
Dr. Strange.
We're definitely stronger together than we are apart. Like the past year of friendship with you guys and being inseparable ever since, that weekend at Marvel HQ last June is enriched my life and improved my life, made me stronger in ways I never anticipated. Like there are things about myself I hated my entire life and I thought were weaknesses until one of y'all goobers was like, actually, that's one of my favorite things about you, and like kind of reframed the way that I think about it, Like I always thought I was too emotional and led with my heart and my feelings, but then Tini called it my big heart energy, and now I'm like, okay.
We are an incredibly balanced D&D party. Like I feel
Wait, oh my God. I still have that, like, what did you name us?
Oh yeah.
What you named us in our Discord server now. I worked for finishing something that I still haven't finished, but I almost am finished with it now.
I believe you got this.
So I can't find it. It's on my desktop somewhere.
Your
holofoil tank.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Tini it should be plant witch supreme or plant sorcerer supreme, yes. I think.
Plant witch supreme, I believe.
So good.
Which is great because it implies both that I'm the supreme, which I am, and also that I come with sour cream like a taco supreme, which I do.
Yes, you're both my favorites.
And you're the feral gangrel duke, which as a Vampire the Masquerade fan, I'm like,
and we figured out
gangrel buddy.
D&D.
Every city venture needs a gangrel buddy.
I'm just saying. I feel like so I don't know what at core people wanted from this panel, but what we wanted from this panel
was to hang out with each other.
Hang out with each other and to hang out with the people that are watching. But also I feel like what we wanted to do was talk about things that we don't really get to talk about in a more formalized space. Like we chat about anything and everything all the time.
All day. Day in, day out.
Favorite thing. It really heals my heart. And my heart is hurting often, now always because I suffer from chronic and crippling depression, but like, especially lately. And so one of the things I had asked Tini, Leah, you were not around at the time, but I hope Tini's been thinking about it. And I'm asking you as well, Leah. What is a question that you always want to answer on a panel like this, but no one asks you? Like where you're sitting there and you're like, God, I wish they would just ask me whatever. So you get more time to think about it. But like I want to hear about y'all more, because I talk to you every day and it's not enough. You know what I mean? So I want to give me all the cool shit about you. Excuse my language. I apologize, children out there.
Oh,
you asked me this yesterday, Vita, and I've been thinking about it, and like, my answer is totally unsurprising. But I was thinking about like what, and also I was thinking in the sense of what's a question that I would want to ask you guys, and I know part of the answer for Leah. But unsurprisingly, the thing I always wish I got to talk about more, and the thing I always wish I could ask other creators more, is the idea of ritual and how we get into the space and the mind of creativity and what we do when we feel like we have none. It's stuff I think about a lot, like Leah's talked about, like clipping her nails and putting on her oil and stuff, and like your rituals you have before writing, and like, you know, we like to put on our playlists, we like to check in with each other, and I really believe in like the humanity of ritual. It's something we all do, or I suppose not humanity if you're a mutant, right? Yeah. But the personhood of ritual and how we use it. And I always love getting a chance to talk about that stuff, because like for me, one of the biggest things that always has to precede a large spate of writing, not like a single session, but when I know I'm about to embark on something new, I have to do what I call filling the tank. And it's like, I look through the list of things that I've had that I've been meaning to read this, but it feels a little heavy, or I've been meaning to watch this, but it seems really like artsy and I'm really going to have to chew on it. Experimental film, performance art. I'll go to a museum when they're open, just something where I can just be challenged by a piece of art and let it challenge me and come out of that challenge. Someone in the comments is calling me out for being a weird witch. It's fine, I see you. I am, you're right, I am. And the idea of like, I have to sit in a space with art, you know, emotionally naked, let it challenge me and take that forward. What about you guys?
The clipping my nails thing is the most like cemented aspect of my creative ritual that I have, because I cannot type well the moment my nails start to become a little bit too long. Like it feels like they're getting in the way. So I've had this same habit of like cutting my nails down to the quick so I can type faster since I was a teenager writing fan fiction. And I need to be better about ritual and clearing my mind. It's something that I used to be a lot better at, but now I feel guilty for taking even the slightest amount of time away from what's happening and what's going on in the news to focus on myself. It feels like I'm doing something selfish, but I, you know, hit this point, and I have been struggling greatly with creative work. I hit this point last week where it's like, I can't function. I have so much grief and rage that I can't brush my hair. I can't sleep at night. Like I absolutely need to get back into a space where I can focus on my creative work and make sure that I'm not like putting myself at the bottom tier priority list. Because once I'm not able to take care of myself, everything around me, like my work suffers, and then I'm a worse friend, and I'm a worse daughter, and I'm a worse community member because I can't get out of bed, you know?
Gotta put our own oxygen mask on first, as they say.
Right. And it's not something that anybody can do for me. It's something that I have to figure out. And I actually had a really good talk with Hickman about this last week, because he understood what was going on and just wanted to check up on me and be like, yes, I'm angry too. We are also angry. We have to take care of ourselves and our headspaces. We are artists, and even if we're not classified as essential workers, we are still oxygenating. We are still helping in the way that we know how to do best. So that really helped me. That gave me a lot of strength. And of course, just being able to reach out to you guys has also helped me too, because at least you're like witnessing the bullshit that I'm doing to myself. And like, you know, before quarantine even, I would go 3-4 days without sleeping, trying to finish something. And I used to get a lot of like, I thought it was hilarious for Vita, my awful living habits, like, you know, having a Monster energy drink for dinner after not sleeping for 2 days, that kind of thing. Like, Vita finds this appalling. And I used to think it was really funny, but now that now that I'm in quarantine and like these bad habits of mine, not cute. It's not cute. I don't recommend it.
If it was possible for me to physically reach through the screen and just take you back here and just wrap you,
put you in a sleeper hold,
but a gentle sleeper hold, like a sleepy time hold. Just do this. I would do it. I think that like the thing that I hate to hear, because I also am that person, but is very important to say, is that you cannot pour from an empty jug. You just can't do it.
Yes.
And there is absolutely nothing wrong with taking time to regroup yourself. And one of the things about that is, like, Leah, especially, you do so much on so many fronts. And that is exhausting. But it also, like, you are doing your best. And I feel like you maybe this is the thing that I just need to do more, and I'm happy to do it. This is what I do, but like, beat that drum of, no, you're doing it. You're doing what you can. You are allowed to be kind to yourself. You do not have to punish yourself because you didn't cause the bad things, and you are trying to help. And I think you are succeeding.
And if you could fix it yourself, you would have done it by now. Like, that's right. The thing I always try to tell myself. I was like, if stressing myself out on the internet could solve the racial justice problem in this country, like, believe me, like, but like, you are doing the work. You're doing the work that you're capable of doing both. And we all are, and Leah, I was so happy today. I saw you shared something that was like, you have to rest so you can fight. And I was like, she's learning.
Yeah, and
I'm so happy.
We're stronger together. It's because I, for the first time, witnessed myself through you guys, like through your reactions and kind of seeing these things through your eyes for the first time. It was like, oh, okay, I'm doing this wrong.
You are allowed to sleep.
Yeah.
And I want to say too, to be clear, we don't yell at Leah to sleep. Like, that's not what we do. But like,
sometimes you do, but it's because I need it.
Sometimes you've been 7 days, and I'm like, if you do not sleep now, do you want to look like this? And then I just have big like bags under my eyes. But part of the beauty of this group is that we have found we've been really open with each other and honest about the things that work and don't work for us. And so, like, I know that it is not effective to just yell at you all the time about going to sleep, but I do know that it sometimes helps if we go, hey, when's the last time you slept or had a sandwich or like whatever, or like, so like, that's also a really nice thing about us and our friendship, is that we continue to be as vulnerable and honest as possible with each other, and we're rewarded in that. I don't think I've ever regretted that for a second.
Yeah,
I've never regretted being honest with you guys about anything, ever. I've been scared about being honest with things, and I've always been happy for it. Hilarious self-care notes about us. We all have our, like, what we eat at cons when we're stressed and our coffee orders and stuff, like, pinned in our Discord, so that if we need to take care of each other and we're not able to ask for help, I can be like, okay, let's see, they probably haven't eaten all day and I have some time. they like this and this. Like, okay, I'm going to bring them a banana and a nice coffee because I know they need it. Like we've gotten good at taking care of each other, but also like you guys are absolutely right that sometimes what you need is just someone to recognize that you're doing the work. Like and it doesn't have to be even like I'm not saying that like, you know, like, cause like, believe me, it gets exhausting for people outside of your circle to come to you and say, can you recognize I'm doing work? But in a work sense, in a creative work sense, like it does help to hear you're working very hard. Or because we love our jobs, sometimes it's hard to hear you deserve to do this. You worked very hard to be here, and you deserve to make space in your schedule to do this work that we're so passionate about and that we spend an inordinate amount of time thinking and feeling about. And I feel like 60% of my mind is in Krakoa or in the other world at all times.
Yeah.
And like, just to hear it, like, just, you know, our buddy Zeb and I were talking about something this week, and in one of the emails, Zeb Wells, he writes Hellions and is amazing. Had just been like, hey, you're working really hard on 10 of Swords. Like, I see it. And it was just like a friendly, wonderful thing to just have someone who you admire, whose work you admire, a coworker, be like, I see the work you're doing, and you're doing like, and we can do that with each other. And that's part of why our community is so important, is because we can just look at each other and say, hey, like, I see what you're doing. You're working so hard. Good job. Good for you. Or, hey, you're working so hard. You get to go sleep now. Or, hey, you're working so hard on this other stuff. Yeah. Like, don't tell yourself that, because we love our jobs so much, it's easy to say, like, giving ourselves space to write them is like a treat sometimes, you know, like I shouldn't take time to go write fantasy stories when I could be doing so much else right now. But also, we worked really hard to be here, and we deserve to be here, and we deserve to make space.
Fight anyone who says different. That's not true. I'm not a fighter, but I will.
Here's the thing: each of us has some degree of imposter syndrome, but we do not have that for each other. Like, this is the most confident that I've ever been in my life about writing and professional projects, and it is specifically because I am so proud of you guys that my association with you, my friendship with you, is like, yeah, okay, we're gonna do this. We're okay, you know. Like, it allows me to remove the onus of my own critical gaze from myself because I'm proud of you guys instead.
Well, and I will say this too. I feel like one of the things that we do that I really appreciate is we will go through a story, whether it be an issue or an arc or whatever, with each other, and just allow the person who's primarily writing it to get out what they need to get out. And I feel like having a space where you can just not be judged and just talk about what you want to do, and then have people go, oh, have you thought about this? Or this is really good that you did. If you did this, it would strengthen it. That boosts my confidence. Like I have terrible self-esteem, but I feel like I respect both of you and your opinion so much that when we're talking through things, like, I feel much more confident, and I think I get better support.
Yeah. Did they tell you why they asked the three of us to do this panel? What prompted it?
No.
It was me. So it was when we were doing those.
Oh, yeah, it was you.
And they, like, the Pride Month ones, and the question was, like, who are your queer heroes? And I listed you guys because literally just the day before was when we were on that voice call, and I was really struggling with that scene in one of my X Factor issues. But the two of you had this idea where it started in one place with Vita, and then Tini immediately picked up on it. I'm reversing it. It started with Tini, and then Vita picked up on it and flipped on its head to get something like even better. Even though what we were starting with was amazing. And I screamed so loud in excitement that the call dropped. Like, no, okay, no more of this. But it was just like, it was so amazing that I screamed. And it's still the aspect that I'm most excited about in that issue. You guys are absolutely my heroes.
I'm going to cry.
Same. Yeah. I mean, one of the things I love that we do for each other is sometimes when we're really stressed with the deadline, notes, rough parts of this job, one of the things that you guys always are really good at reminding me of, and so I try to give that back and remind you, is to stop and say, wait, why are you writing this book? Not what has anyone else told you, why are you, what's in this issue that you want to do? And sometimes it's just but you need to say it out loud and remind yourself, well, I just, the whole thing for me is this emotional heart of this character. And it's well, okay, let's work together and figure out how you can make space for that. We're all really, really good at making sure none of us have to write anything that isn't us.
Yeah.
And that's been a struggle sometimes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I like
that.
We work with
good people.
Yeah, we work with really good people, but we're also working in an industry where there's, some pretty rigid expectations in terms of who's behind these comics, the creators of them, and we sort of are not the norm in a lot of ways. So I think that it can be kind of a fear that we might have because we are doing something different and we are queer writers who are not erasing that experience from the work that we do. I think it can be maybe a fear that we have to change ourselves to fit in. We have to dilute who we are to be more palatable. And we were talking about this earlier today, assimilation is not equality.
and to bring it back, they, once they put us together, they can't do that anymore. I think that's the strength of
we know better.
That it's no, not only do we know better, but it's are you really going to go through the three of us?
Right.
You don't have to, this is a multiple boss situation. This is not one person gets tired out and gives up. Then you got to go on to the next one.
It's the boss morphs and turns into another asshole you got to fight, and it's another one of them.
So let me answer your question, Tini, because I think we're running out of time. If I'm not mistaken.
We are. Answer my question. Yeah.
So your ritual question, which I think is a wonderful question. I've never even thought about that. For me, my ritual has been really wildly interrupted in the last couple of weeks, and that ritual was centered around our Discord of waking up at a certain time every day, checking in, even if Tini wasn't awake yet or Leah was playing Animal Crossing, whatever, just being in the space was the first thing that I would do in my work day. And then I'd go off and I'd make my to-do list, which is a big part of my ritual, and figure out music. And another thing that is super important to my ritual, to my getting into the headspace, is spying on Leah's Spotify and seeing what she's listening to and then stealing it. Because to me, going back to our playlists and stuff, we're all really musical people, even if we don't necessarily play music all the time or sing all the time or whatever. And that is a huge part of my soul, and to be able to share that so openly and not be judged by y'all is great. I'm sure there's stuff that I put in the chat where both of you are just that ain't it, chief, or whatever.
No, never. That's never happened.
Fair enough. It's never happened.
Yeah.
I've just vibed with everything.
I always want to love something knowing that you guys love it too. Even if something isn't my own particular typical tastes, I often love something that you guys will share because it reminds me of you, or because I love it the way I love you, and it's I
definitely listen to those playlists to specific songs.
And be what do we think of you?
Oh, and the playlist we made, the teenage mixtapes that we made each other, that to me, I miss y'all. So I guess I don't know how you guys want to wrap up this panel, but I think for me, I just wanted to say that I'm really grateful to be friends with y'all and to have the space that we share every day. And, I don't know if I could have made it. I think I would have probably quit writing comics, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And so thank you for that.
To end up on.
And then hopefully you guys can take some of this energy of the space and the support with you guys.
And
come work with us. Come drop us.
Yeah, we like to extend the vibe as much as humanly possible. So, the next time we are all together, come and chill and have some of the good vibe.
Yeah. Community feels great.
We're all about community.
That's what we do. It says we were told that we can have a couple more minutes. So if you want to, do you want to do any questions, or do you want to, Leah, ask the question that you wish you were asked?
Oh, I don't have an answer for that. Let's I don't know, maybe pick a question from the pool or something like that. Hi, Marley. I do remember you, by the way.
I don't know how y'all are keeping up with this chat. There's so much beautiful chatter happening. I love it.
I keep glancing over.
And Jessie, hi, sweetheart.
Liana, yeah, love. Okay, so one of the things that I like when I'm asked on panels that I would answer every time is, why do you feel driven to create? Why do it? You could do anything. And I truly believe this about the two of you. You are capable of doing anything for money and also for fun. Why are you putting yourself through the wonder and the grief of writing, and writing comics specifically, but also writing in general? Because I know you both write prose as well, and I do as well.
I think I would have killed myself if I didn't have an outlet like writing. I think I would have been dead as a teenager.
Yeah,
it's kind of serious, but
that's real. That's real.
It's real.
It's what I do. It's what I've always I figured out a few years ago that, part of why I write and make stories so much is because it was like a dissociative impulse I developed as a child. So, that's my safe space. That's my comfort in my head is I make up stories, and it's a comfort to me. So to be able to share that with others is really important to me. Also, it has become how I work through things. I said to a friend this week, and it was one of those things where I said it out loud and realized as I was saying it that I was like, sometimes it's not an accident that, the story of Captain Britain right now I'm writing is about an angry woman trying to do a job that's traditionally done by men.
That's real as well.
But I never thought that planning it, it's taken me writing 12, 13 issues of it at this point, where I realized that as I was saying it out loud on the phone with a friend, and it was one of those things I said it, and I was like, I guess that is the truth. Also, I pantomime a phone like this because I'm 34 years old. It's
a rotary phone too. It's not even touch phone.
There's like a operator. Dial 5. Yeah, and then I call my friends that way.
Hi, Leo. Those are good answers. Those are very good answers. My answer is I mean on the level of Leah, when I was a teen, there was a book that I read that saved my life. I was ready to die. I was ready to die by my own hand. And reading that book, at first, it was so beautifully written and so weird that I was like, well, I can't go yet because I have to get to the next, the next chapter. I have to I'll see how I feel at the end of the book, basically. And it was Dawn by Octavia Butler. And my teacher,
her birthday was 2 days ago.
I know. Yep. She's my faves. And when I read it, my teacher gave it to me. He gave me his signed copy to read, which was bananas. I didn't know what she was at the time, but and it was the one with the white lady on the cover. Real freaking wild. Because that's how she was able to get. That's a whole nother story. That's amazing. But when I gave it back to him, he was like, there's more, right? Like, there's more in this series, and also she wrote a bunch of other more books. And I was like, this was a Black teacher that I had. I believe I was 15. I was 10th grade. And he knew me fairly well. And I think he saw that I was struggling, and he knew I wanted to be a writer, and I'd given up on it already, basically, because I didn't see myself anywhere. And he was like, no, there's more of this. And
God bless the same with me too.
Bless him. But the fact that it felt like those things had been kept from me. and I got angry about it, and I work very well out of spite.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, we all have that in common.
It's perfect. Just retool that energy. But for me, when I'm writing, what I'm trying to do, I don't think I'll ever be that good. I don't have the aspirations to be as amazing as Octavia Butler. But what occurred to me even as a teenager is that the thing that made me feel real to read this book. And so if I can, for people like me, whether they be Black and Latinx or non-binary or queer or any combination of those things, we exist. If I can make them feel real or seen, that's what I want to do. I've always wanted to help people, and I am very bad at math, so I can't be a doctor. And so I thought, this is the thing that, like Tini, like, I do it compulsively. I've had many other jobs and I've been pretty good at them, but what I do all the time is right, no matter if I'm being paid or not. And so
same. That experience is exactly the same with me too, where it's not just the focus point of why I write, but why I am ambitious, wanting to help people.
Yes.
There is nothing I think I am personally more capable of than making people feel seen with whatever platform that I've given. And I believe this with my heart of hearts. This is my guiding principle. This is my spine, that anything with an audience has a responsibility to that audience, to show the world as it is. Because to deny someone their representation, to leave them in the shadows, it makes them feel monstrous. And there's no excuses for like whitewashing or straight washing anything about my work, because that's not how the world is. It's not how the world has ever been.
And we could talk about that forever. Like, I could go on about Black astronauts and all that kind of stuff. Like, we could do that all day.
How white American culture is just like what, incest and hydraulic press videos on YouTube.
But I will say those hydraulic press videos are like oddly soothing. Like, I'm just gonna.
Oh, they're great. But that's like me being generous. I mean, okay, so for people who don't know, I wrote an article in 2016 about how Hollywood whitewashed the Old West. And I was going to write a follow-up article to it about how there is no such thing as like white American history or culture, because this has never been a white country, and what white Americans have contributed to what we associate with Americana is completely wrong. It is not cowboy culture. It is not apple pie. It is not blue jeans. It is not.
I got that wrong. I thought it was apple pie.
It's not apple pie. Nothing we think of as American originates from white America. So, okay, what does that leave? What does originate from white America?
Hydraulic presses.
Maybe. That might be European.
I'll let them have it. Let them have the videos. All right.
So
I think
institutionalized racism, hydraulic press videos, and
I wasn't the one that said it. So
let us know in the comments how you feel about it.
Oh my God. YouTube, like, subscribe, leave comments.
Go ahead and just smash that subscribe button.
Go ahead and smash that subscribe button.
I think that we are technically at the end of our time, but I wanted to
over.
Yeah, they let us play. But I'm really grateful that I was able to do this with y'all, and also all the people that came and commented. The comments are just like scrolling so quickly for me. I have bad attention problems, so it's hard for me to read as I go. But thank you for all of the comments and questions, and I'm sure that we will be open to answering them in the future, since we didn't get to them now. So
yeah, guys, and thank you so much. And
thank you guys for being here. Yeah, and obviously some things we can't answer because we're working on it. Right. But thank you guys for being here and being a part of this. Please don't forget to check the bookshop link and donate to the Audre Lorde Project or Color of Change as part of what we're doing today and every day to make this country safe for everyone to live in it.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye, y'all. Love you.
Love you. I don't know how to stop this.
Nope. Until they
on them.
Yep.
Oh no, how do I do this? We're still live, by the way.